Thank you for staying with us. Now, as global oil markets become increasingly volatile, a compelling case is being made for Nigeria to return to its agricultural roots to secure its economic future. For decades, the nation has been dangerously dependent on oil, which accounts for over 90% of its export earnings. But with vast tracts of uncultivated, arable land and a growing population, experts argue that agriculture holds the key to true diversification. Proponents point to agriculture's potential to create millions of jobs, slash the country's multi-billion-dollar food import bill, and generate new export revenue. The call is for massive investment in modern farming techniques, rural infrastructure, and making the sector attractive to the youth through technology and mechanization. The message is clear. To survive and prosper in a post-oil world, Nigeria must once again cultivate the land that once made it a self-sufficient agricultural powerhouse. Now, as the push for Nigeria to diversify its economy away from oil gains momentum, a critical question remains: how much of a pathway can agriculture truly create towards a sustainable future? Joining us now for some expert analysis is Dr. Moji Davids, a practicing farmer. Dr. Davids, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, it's interesting. I like it when women, talk about agriculture, going to the farm and all of that. And for a long time now, even during former President Buhari's tenure, we were talking about growing what we eat and eating what we grow, diversifying the economy. How serious do you think we are about this drive?
Well, thank you so much for the seriousness you brought into it is the thing that made me laugh. How serious really are we as a nation, as a people? Like I always say everywhere, the problem of Nigeria is not whether we have lands. You just mentioned about the massive arable lands that we have, but the problem is about putting our lands to effective use. You go to countries that are even smaller in size and population, and you see the massive things they're doing about agriculture. How serious are we as a nation? So we need to drive this into the minds of our younger ones, Let agriculture no longer be seen as a business for the dirty, for the poor, or let it not be regarded as when you don't have anything else to do, then you go back to your village and do agriculture. Agriculture has become is more than that. So we have to instill that level of seriousness, even from our educational levels, from the primary, secondary schools. Let our younger ones begin to see the seriousness, and let's create a platform, to encourage our people, and bring them to the farm. You can't be talking to people about the farm and you're taking them somewhere else to talk about the farming. Bring them to the farm to see what agriculture means and the prospects, and the opportunities that it holds.
Talking about prospects and opportunities, Doctor, where should we be in terms of seeing agriculture? You mentioned the issue of, in terms of business now, where do you think it should be in contributing to Nigeria's GDP, as it were? Currently, yes, it's more like small-time agricultural practices. In those days, we used to have large-scale farmings, the groundnut pyramids, as you know, in the 60s and 70s, but all that has been eroded. Mm-hmm. So in terms of developing agriculture as a business, we should see it as a business that will, not just as a food provider.
Yes.
So where are we? How do we get there?
To be honest, right now, we're not really so far, to be very honest. And I really appreciate what the government, especially from the federal government, what the federal government is doing now, creating awareness and providing a lot of, funding and all that for the people to come back into agriculture. But, this powerhouse belongs to the youth. So we have to speak their language. The youth of these days are not the ones that we want to transfer the cutlasses and the oaths to. So we have to make it fun. We have to make it attractive, So beyond all just providing technology. Technology is very good. It's a driver for what we're talking about. But there is a very big need, for us to be more innovative and creative to get agriculture to where we want it to be. And that starts from the youth through the grassroots. If all the attention is coming only from the top and then the people in the grassroots are left behind, then we will not really go far. And that's why, for example, we at Extra Large Farms, we are campaigning massively about agri-tourism, finding a reason to bring people into the farm for other reasons than farming. Because if it's just for farm, everybody already has a bad mindset about farming. When you mention a farmer, nobody's expecting to see anybody like you or me. They have a picture of a dirty, backbent, poverty-stricken old man in one village. That's the picture we see on Africa Magic, So we have to represent that. We have to wear a new apparel for that, especially from the grassroots. What's the population of Nigeria? More than 60% of our population are the youth and women. Let's drive it from there, backed up with whatever that the federal government and the state governments are doing. But we have to do a lot from the grassroots.
And unfortunately, we're still battling with subsistence agriculture when we should be talking about mechanization. But what key areas of focus do you think that Nigeria's agricultural sector needs to focus on to achieve significant growth and also contribute to the economy?
Massive training. We need a lot of training. And it has to be free. Massive innovations, come up with very creative ideas that will bring people, add fun into it. People no longer want to do boring things. Look at what AI is doing everywhere. So why would anybody leave AI and want to be in the farm suffering? So we have to find a way to make it attractive and fun. That's what I'm trying to say. So we have to focus on training. We have to focus on, educating the people, especially the young ones. And most importantly, bring them to the farm. Stop doing farm trainings in
the classroom.
So we have to find a way to do that. I just returned from Abuja where we had the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit. And, out of all the pitching sessions and everything, I was a moderator for agribusiness. And thankfully, I'm so happy that, agribusiness won. Telling us a lot of prospects. And a young girl that is just processing into agro-processing of tomatoes, trying to solve a challenge in the issue of post-harvest losses in tomatoes from Kano, got a funding of about 250 million naira to, expand our business. That's what we're talking about. When there's that kind of encouragement and that kind of platform, that makes the young people want to feel that, this is possible. I can also achieve my dreams. Because as long as they begin to think that, because once I become a farmer, my life is sentenced to, being on the farm, no light, no electricity, no good living and all that. But when we begin to create a better picture of what we're doing, especially with the way we are trying to infuse or incorporate tourism into agriculture, then we will really go far.
You'll go far, but let's look at the reality on ground, especially in the north. It's good to advocate youth inclusiveness when it comes to agricultural development. The issue of insurgency, areas where there are food baskets are currently under threat right now by, bandits, terrorists, or whatever you wish to call them. So how is that impacting on that zeal, that enthusiasm to get youth, to be involved in farming as well? I'm sure it's not just, we're not talking about the Southwest, all your advocacy is not focused on that alone, but at least penetrating where the food baskets are in other regions like the North. I'd like your thoughts on that.
Yes, that is a problem that can only be solved by the government. The issue of security is not something any private body, whatever. It's affecting it. To be very honest, it's affecting it because how safe can you feel knowing that, or how good can you feel knowing that you're going to the farm and you may not return? Indeed. So we are using this medium to further call upon the federal government to channel a lot more attention on those food basket states to ensure that the farm communities and the farmers are well protected. Once they have the feeling that, okay, at least there's a level, they are doing a lot on their own, but they know they have a lot of backup, from the government. You're going to the farm, the roads are well secured, even the farming communities are well secured. And if possible, we should start training our people to be able to carry licensed arms, even as a farmer.
Okay, we'll have to go now. I know that there have been a lot of conversations in that direction for some, pros and cons in that conversation. But thank you so much, Dr. Moji Davis, for pushing this thought. We've been talking about diversification for the longest time. I think it's time to put it into action.
Indeed.
We're speaking with Dr. Moji Davis, and she's been talking to us about diversifying into agriculture.